Hey guys, so The Legend of Zelda is an iconic classic that stands the test of time, even with simplistic graphics and gameplay. We all know this. I want to talk about this game anyway. The original Zelda game is not my favorite Zelda game of all time, but it's definitely the one that I know inside and out the best. Well, at least the first quest. The Legend of Zelda is one of the first games I owned. Well, my parents really bought it for themselves, I think. Both my mom and dad played through the game. And my dad ended up purchasing a strategy guide to it because it was very difficult to find your way around it. So because of that, by the time I did get to play it, I didn't have to stumble through it like a lot of kids did. I already knew most of the secrets, and unfortunately, that kind of detracts from the overall experience of The Legend of Zelda, and I just unfortunately missed out on that. But I played the first quest as a kid countless times, but I was never really brave enough to try and finish the second quest. By the time I was a teenager, I stumbled across a program called Zelda Classic. This was a fan-made program that was actually a clone and not a hack of the game. The coolest thing about Zelda Classic is that you were able to use a editor and create your own quests for the game. I made quite a few. I only really finished 3, and I believe that only 1 is still playable. I lost the first one. The second one I don't think works in any current build, unfortunately. But the cool thing was you could put your own graphics into it, or new graphics. You could update graphics so it looked more like a 16-bit game. New weapons and items were coded into it, and you could even add more enemies, newer enemies. Edit enemies so they were harder, tougher, easier, whatever. The game is still available for download at www.zeldaclassic.com. Yes, this is a plug for that site. Been a member there for well over 10 years now, but I love it. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll also leave a link to my only surviving custom quest. So enough with my handsome mug, and on with the gameplay. So I have the first quest mostly memorized. I don't know where every single secret rupee stash is, but I can get through it and collect all the items fairly quickly. I try to pick up everything, even though a few of the items are next to useless. I mean, unless you're trying for a no sword run, who really uses the wand or the book that goes with it? I'd skip them if I wasn't such a completionist with this game. The bait is just useless, except for getting past the hungry Goriah. Link, why can't you just kill that guy, like all the other Goriahs in the game? I still haven't done a no ring run, or a wooden sword or no sword run. I really should try it. I'm sure I could do it, but I really like collecting items. Maybe next time. The run you're seeing here is a no death, no potion use run. So the gameplay is damn near perfect for what it is. The hit detection is flawless. It always feels satisfying to kill something with your sword. It feels just as good to mow through a group of Polsvoys with your arrows. None of the enemies feel like they don't have a place. They all require a bit different strategy to take on. I always used to hate taking on blue Darknuts when I was a kid, but I can get through them pretty easily now. Well, mostly. I freaking hate blue Wizrobes though. Talk about a pain. Most of the bosses are a pushover if you've played this game a few bajillion times. The hardest boss is probably the 4-headed Gleeok. In Zelda Classic, the program I mentioned earlier, it was common to see people place 10 4-headed Gleeoks on top of each other to make one Mega Gleeok with 40 heads. You can't get through that unscathed. Zelda 1 established a lot of conventions in the series. Labyrinths, an explorable overworld, shooting sword beams, and the main Zelda theme music. You can't deny that the main Zelda theme is one of the most iconic themes in all of gaming. Probably only second to the Super Mario Bros. Theme. While the music is iconic, I usually have to try and tune it out, because listening to the same tune through the entire game is grating. Don't get me wrong, I love the music in this game, but after playing through it for hours, it gets a bit old. After I finished the first quest, I thought I would have enough footage to make the video. Well, I absolutely did, but what the hell, let's play through the second quest too. I'll be honest, I've only ever beaten the second quest a handful of times, and I never beat the quest on the original cart. I aim to fix that. I did cheat a bit. I used a few maps to find my way through the later levels. Those leave your life or your money rooms scare the crap out of me. I remember seeing them as a kid, and the thought of losing a hard-earned heart container scared me away from the quest. The early levels are brutal if you don't save up for the blue ring right away. You know this game isn't fooling around when Stalfos in level 1 are throwing sword beams at you. Oh, and Wizrobes and blue dark nuts before you can even collect the magic sword? Screw you, Wizrobe! The red bubbles suck too. There were a few times where I was trying to get through swordless because I couldn't find a blue bubble. Oh, and if you want to get the medicine early on, you better bring your skills. You have to fight all the way through the Lost Woods, the graveyard, then the mountains, which are crawling with sword beam spewing Lionels. Those beams will tear you up pretty quick near the beginning of the game. I can get through the first quest without dying, but the second one is a different story. I died 9 times. I may start to focus on the second quest when I play through the game now, just to add a bit of challenge. So, level 9 in the second quest is a freaking maze if you don't have a map. I got lost a few times, then died again, then died outside when I was trying to get back to a potion shop. When I did get back, I went ahead and cheated, and I used a map, and got through the level pretty easily. Yay, Zelda! Not much more to say here. This is a great game that I have a lot of love for. If you haven't played it, play it, even if 8-bit games turn you off. If you'd rather play an updated version of it, head on over to www.zeldaclassic.com. There are quite a few decent remakes of the first quest that use 16-bit quality graphics. There are also a bunch of quality custom quests that you can download and play as well. And hey, you might as well try and make a quest yourself while you're at it. Later.